Hey guys, how's it going? A friend of mine, Dan, who hooked us up quite a while ago with a John Deere 318 that we went through and put back together, has called me back again for this lovely specimen. And what's happening with this one, Dan?
I was pulling it out for the summer to get it ready for the summer, and it got to right here and through the drive belt, and as I was starting to work on it, it done enough and I gave it up.
You said the flywheel was loose or came apart and it sheared the key,
yeah.
And it also sheared the, on the other end of things, the clutch on the bottom side. And then you said, let's go buy a John Deere.
Yep.
And that's what you did. So you went back with John Deere, and this one's coming back with us. We're going to go kind of look into it, see what happened, possibly be able to fix it, and or maybe we'll put it together with another machine that is needing a bunch of love. So we're going to go load her up in the truck and bring her back to the shop. Tell everybody thanks, Dan.
Have a nice day. It's all good. Get up there. Get on.
All right, so it's the next day, and do a quick little recap, whether I have it all, the information correct or not. He was using it, the PTO failed, and I think it was, he said it was throwing belts. I don't know if it was throwing belts for the tractor or throwing belts for the mower deck. I think I kind of lost on there. I do see one sitting up here that is definitely got its money's worth, we should say. Something was cutting into it, huh? And from there, he backed it up where it was in the yard. He may have been using it just as like a mule, maybe pulling a cart or something around, and it died right there. When he went and looked into it, I think he said the flywheel had come loose, hence why it's probably missing some of the cover or whatever is on top is gone, and it would not run anymore. And he thought it sheared the flywheel key. That's about as much information as we got. The rest of it is on us. I'm gonna guess this thing's probably about 20 years old, maybe a little more, a little less. Let's see if we got any fluids in it. It does have oil in it. It's a good sign. He has wires hanging off. That's probably for the electric PTO. He did buy, I think, a new electric PTO. There's one that came with it, so I guess I know it came with one. And I don't know if we even have one underneath there or not. No, there's nothing underneath. On the bottom, that's empty. And it doesn't look too beat up. I don't see any bash marks in it. Tires don't look like they're dry rotted. Let's what we got for hours on it? It's got an hour meter, I think. Let's go get you up in there. You probably hold on. I'll get you there. You see it? What does that say? I gotta climb up there with you. 416 hours. And let's pop you in a stand, and we'll give her a quick crank, and we'll see what's kind of going on, if anything works. Actually, there's another plug there. One of those got to be for the PTO, and one not so much, right? So there's that, which I think is going to be the wiring probably for the headlights. Yeah, that's what that is. That's wiring for the headlights, and this is probably wiring for the PTO. That's missing on it. I don't see any evidence of a mouse nest sticking out of it. Alright, yeah, let's go pop you in the stand, and we'll put the safety on and see if it'll crank for us. Don't know if the seat safety is hooked up or not. I don't know. I don't see any wires going to it. Let's see what we get. Let's go brake on. And there's the battery. Huh. Alright, let's take the plug out of it. We'll throw a battery charger on that while we're waiting to get at least a little bit of juice to it. And we'll get the hood out of our way too. We'll get the plug out of it, and we'll just check for spark and see what we got kind of going on. That looks a little suspect too, doesn't it? They usually have like a location like somewhere halfway open to close that'll allow the hood to like lift out sometimes. There it goes. Gotta play Jenga with it. Let's go take a peek underneath real quick. Does it even have a drive? Yeah. No drive belt at all on the transmission. So maybe one started out first with the mower deck acting up, and then the second one was it throwing the other one. But if he doesn't have a PTO on it, that pulley is gonna drop. That one. I think the other one supports it, so it may have just dropped into the wrong height. Yeah, look at the dents that are in it. If you can see them. Yeah, she's all banged up all the way around. Yeah, so that's probably part of that issue. That's probably why it threw the drive belt, just because there was nothing down here supporting it. Let's go back to the engine. That's our bigger concern, right? All right, let's get that plug out of it, and we'll see what we got for spark. Well, that spark plug sits in there far, huh? What a pain in the ass that is. Let's get this cover off out of our way. Alright, see what we got. I see repaired wires on the system. So I had mice at some point in its life. Right there. And probably the wires going to the, is that bare wire right there? Yeah, you can see a bunch of chomping on that. So that's probably going to the carb. Looks like a oil pressure wire going over there. He said he thought it sheared the flywheel key. I guess we'll get that bolt out after and go check. Everything else doesn't look too bad. I don't see signs of a blown head gasket. All right, let's get that plug out of there, and we'll give her a spin. Put a jumper pack up there so we don't have to listen to the battery charger hump. All right. Hopefully it's got spark. And hopefully when we spin it over, it's not all clanky like. Alright. Let that brake pedal lock down. It should crank. Let's see what we get. That's pretty good. Sounds decent. Yeah, alright, let's go dribble a little bit of fuel down it real quick, and we'll listen to it. We'll see what it does. Again, we kind of have a heads up that it's got a sheared flywheel key. I haven't confirmed that yet. Let's just go see what that causes. It should kind of like pop and backfire and like try to stall the spin out. Because I think he just it stopped dead on him, which is kind of just a little weird in my opinion, because generally a flywheel key shears from the engine stopping real fast. And the mass of the flywheel is so great that it shears the key. Like, so if like the engine hits something, but everything's like belt driven. Again, we're trying to go by partial conversation. We'll see. Sometimes like on the older ones, the magnets, that's a magnet right there. They're on the inside of the flywheel. Sometimes the glue would let go on those and they can kind of cause that problem. Shouldn't be the case here. All right, let's see what we got. See if it does anything. What we got for throttle? Throttle's in the middle. See what happens. Yeah, see how it fought back? I thought I saw it puffing a little bit of smoke out around here too. Could be around the exhaust pipe, so it might have a blown head gasket. All right, let's get that flywheel up off of there. Let's get the bolt out and we'll take a peek what's going on inside there. I'm hoping it's got a good engine, because I got a if this tractor has too many issues to go fix. We did one last year, that red, I think it was the Troy built, with the same engine on it that blew apart, and that tractor is really clean. So that's getting ahead of ourselves though. All right, let's get that bolt out. We actually should probably be able to see. If I'm talking, get that out of the way. You might be able to see, just with taking this plastic cap off, where the key on the flywheels and the key on the crank, see with the two spots line up. It sounds like it's already broken though, by the way it was doing what it was doing. Yeah, so you can get the little cap out of there. There we go. So I see where it is. I do not see. Sometimes the groove doesn't go all the way to the top, so it's hard to tell. what I'm looking at is that groove right there, and sometimes you'll see it on the crank too. You'll see, okay, it's lined up over there. Let's get a screwdriver up underneath this thing. We'll go put the bolt back in it. We're gonna whack it. We're gonna put some pressure underneath it with a screwdriver lifting up on the flywheel. I'm gonna whack down on this with a hammer, and it should cause the flywheel to pop off. Let's see what we get. Push off that bolt. That's already loose. Well, I guess it does have a sheared key because it's not even sitting in place. That was easy. Come on, I'm on the magnet. Let me just rotate it a little. That magnet and the coil were holding each other. There we go. So I don't see any part of key in there. And let's go bump that key real quick so it faces us. Oh, duh. Nothing's turning without that on there. Oh well. That was perfect. You have to pay me more. I'm going to take the plug back out of it so it doesn't have any compression. Hopefully I can grab it at the bottom pulley. We'll just turn it facing us. We might have to kind of clean up what's there. Yeah, definitely see where it's sheared. Sounds assessment was right. Again, I don't know why it did that. You can see right there the key's busted off. I don't know if we can get that piece out of there. There we go. Ow, bit me. Stabbed me with a splinter. Alright, let's see. I think he even had a key with it, but it may have gotten blown out of the cup holder on the way here. I'm gonna go check my stash and see what we can go find. Yeah, those magnets I was talking about for the charging system. Sometimes they'll break loose and they'll jam up and they'll cause the flywheel to do what it did. They look pretty good though. Yeah, the other machine was a Toro. I thought it was a Troy built. Probably the same thing. All right, let's go look in the stash of parts. Again, same engine. And see if you can find a key that's in here. And a different pulley. That kind of sucks. I was hoping we'd have the same pulley left over for us, you know. One would think that you would put the parts in a bag, wouldn't you? Yeah, there's the bearing that was in this one that cooked. I'm gonna hunt that keeper. That's because it's still in it. That's why. I even tightened it. Did I really? Alright, so I scavenged the right key for it. Let's get that in there. And hopefully we spin it up and it doesn't do the same thing all over again. But if it does, at least we'll be able to find out what's causing it. We need to get you facing away from the magnet. See if we can do this without taking the coil off. Kind of need to be able to look down on it because it's squared off the way it should be. There we go. Now we got it. Let's go buzz a bolt down on that. And we'll give her a spin. We'll see how she likes it. I don't have to plug it in. Let's just spin it real quick. Make sure you don't have no interruptions. Alright, so you'll hit it with the key, see what happens. Right, so plug in it, see what we get. Alright, place your bets. I think it'll go. I'm not choke on it yet, but that sounded a little weird. Seems like it's blowing smoke. Purrs like a kitten. I don't know Oh, we got something else going on. It may have a blown head gasket. It's starting to kind of seem like the smoke was puffing out from that location. Go try it again, and now we will pop that valve cover off next. Let's go give it another spin, see what it does. Give her a little bit of throttle too. Oh yeah, that should be choke. She purrs, right? If the choke is stuck out, let's go look into that carb real quick, see if we got anything kind of going on over here. Definitely does not seem right though, huh? Let's go work that throttle. Yeah, it seems like it's okay. It was full throttle when it was doing it too. What's your guess? The made it sound like it had a key sheared, and it did have one that was sheared, but it still kind of sounds that same way. I wonder if something else internally possibly may have happened to it, like a jump of because like something would have had to stop short to really do what it did to shear the key. There's some mice. Let's that choke should back off. Yeah, that choke is on way too tight. That choke is stuck. Does it have a separate lever for choke? Yes, it does. Well, there's your problem. Assuming. All right, try it again. That's more like it. All right, go idle it down. I think that's just the exhaust shroud rattling. Good. It's a little tinny on the way off. I think that's the internal of the muffler rattling a little bit, or it might be mushed up against the frame. So, all right, I'm gonna go pop the fan on real quick. So evacuate some air, and we'll continue on. Yeah, a lot of the throttles. I'm trying to backpedal on my mistake. A lot of throttles, you push them all the way up and there's the choke, and I just wasn't paying attention. I was thinking that was an electric PTO switch. So it came with a belt. You know, my guess is the same as the one that's all tore up underneath there, but judging by what we saw in the beginning with that pulley in the front that's all mangled, that one up in there, we should probably try to get that, maybe that out of there, drop that down and see if we can repair it. We also got to go see if there's any other issues as far as any idler pulleys that are screwed up and whatnot. I don't know, for viewing purposes, if we have a better possibility of, I don't know if I could flip it up on its end. Yeah, we'll see. Well, I guess we're going to test the integrity of that front bumper. As the roof falls down. Alright, now we got a better view. If there was cheese underneath there, I'd be kind of concerned. Like a big musty one mousetrap. Alright, let's go see. Oof, yeah, it's pretty hamburgered on there, huh? I wonder if you tried taking a screwdriver and prying that off, is my guess. That's probably a spacer. Let's go take a wire wheel, we'll clean up some of this rust and lube this, just try to get that pulley to draw down. And I don't know if I'm going to try hammering that straight, or I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one in my stash. Let's yeah, let's go clean that up and see what we got. Throw some on top. I don't know if you can get to the top one. I'm trying not to bend on the lip. You know what I mean? Trying to get to where the hook gets up and kind of touches the center of it. I don't know if we can get like any kind of puller on there. anything that's hammered. I don't want to pull. There's just no room around there to get anything around. There's a little bit of space in the back. How do you want to try to get that out of there? I don't see a, because you put a puller on this, you're just going to thrash the outside edge of it, you know? I know, like, we can try to put some pressure on it, and sometimes you could take an air hammer. You could try to, like, draw. There's like a little bit of play in the crankshaft. I got you zoomed in, don't I? There is, like, you know, a hair of play in the crankshaft, and usually you can kind of work with that. Maybe we can come up and, you know, we'll put some pressure behind it. We'll try with an air hammer with a flat nose or on the bolt. Try driving this up and see if it'll work for us. It just looks like it's taken, you know, a bunch of hits on it. It might be kind of like peened over on there on the stiff side. So it's gonna slip off. Try to get a little bit better pressure on it. The other thing I think of is we put some heat on it, try to get that to, you know, expand a little bit on it. But there's going to be a crank seal above that I don't want to cook, so I'm not quite sure how we're going to go about that. And I don't think we just have enough play in the cranks. All you need, it's not much, you know, a couple thou will give it that capacity to hammer off of there. Yeah, she's mangled pretty good. I'm gonna go take a quick look in my pulley setups. Maybe yeah, that's pretty trash. I was trying to hope we could bend that back into shape, but let me go see what I can go find if I have anything that's worth a damn to replace it with. Yeah, unfortunately, the way that's kind of encapsulated up in there, I don't give us much hope. Let's I think we're gonna unbolt that engine right out of there. We'll let it lift up, and I'll work on it from there, so you can kind of get behind it a little bit more. What are we dealing with? Unbolt the starter, muffler, and a couple of wires. See if we just kind of get the engine up and sitting like that. Hey, tuck these away a little bit. Gotta get on it. Come on. Move that steering out of the way. These are easy. I'm gonna let her down, disconnect that other stuff. I'm trying to get that starter bolt undone, and the whole post is like twisting because something's already been there ahead of us, judging by the bend that's on there. But you can see that's ready to rip out. If you go on that, you're gonna tear that post right out. So you get a little thin wrench up above it, give it some support. There we go. Keep from trashing it. I think we just got a power plug behind it for the power, and then we got that muffler. Yeah, this plug back here. There we go. I'd say you can get the socket on there. Try impact. Sometimes exhaust works good with impact. The little sudden hits breaks the rust off. This might be a free pipe that we can get right out of there without taking the lower muffler off. There we go. Alright. One last check. We'll see if we can flip that engine up. I don't think I'm going to need to disconnect the fuel line. I think we should be okay with that. We're going to go find out right now. I got the throttle cables hooked up too. Yeah. Let's go see. Get under. Hey, now we can see it. Let's see if I could rig up some kind of puller on that now. You get a better look at how nasty it is too. Oh, yeah. If I just got a set screw in it. I don't think so though. No set screws. Oh, is that hammered, huh? Alright, now we should be able to get behind it with something. I'm thinking this is one of the few times where this might actually work for us. Oh, it's so close that the posts are keeping it from getting center. Oh well. In the middle? I don't think so. Nope. So a long time subscriber donator Jim sent us this funky puller after the last fiasco we were dealing with. I guess he felt my pain and set us up with this one. So let's go throw this assembly on there, see if that will work for us. Either that or it's gonna just rip its guts right off. We go set that up, figure out how it works, and we'll give that a shot. Well, the only thing I see as an issue is that it's a little small for this puller. The jaws aren't in all the way. This is maxed out, this tension on it, but not gonna stop us. See what it does. Just bending the crap out of it. I think we're gonna have to resort to heat. It's starting to look that way. Yeah, we're getting more creative. Let's see how this one does. I still haven't put heat on it yet, but holy moly. There it goes. Yeah, that wasn't gonna go. The rust that was on there was definitely putting up a fight. Alright. So, the question is, you think any of that move fast? Any of that is any possible of any kind of anything to save? I don't know. Let's get it out of there and take a look at it. Yeah, it's fine. Take a belt, no problem. I think I'm going to go pop it in a vise and just kind of work on it with a pair of pliers or something and try to bend it back somewhat into its... yeah. See what happens. So if you really thought I was going to be able to bend that back in a usable shape, as crazy as I am. I was hoping to have the belt pulley that I knew I had off the other machine. Although this did not have an electric PTO, I was thinking that maybe this pulley would have been the same size and we could have cut, you know, just the shaft off and basically recreate the upper level. The only thing I see though, it's a different ratio. The ID of this pulley and the ID of this pulley do seem to be quite a bit different. I'm going to give it a quick measure, but that's going to throw everything off. It'll throw the top speed of the tractor off. Not that that's that big of a deal. And also the tension of the belt and what belt size you would have to try to come up with. And they're kind of picky. It's not like you could, you know, draw an inch or so of slack up with the tensioners. But let me keep working at it. I'm actually going to look upstairs in my pulley stash and see if I have anything roughly this diameter. What I'm kind of thinking right now is possibly we can just cut this one right off of this hub and weld another one on there if I could find one the right size. Up in the stash yard. We have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It'd be nice if we found one the right size, huh? I don't think that's going to happen. They're all going to be too small of a diameter, but we need that. And we also are going to need it steel so we can weld it, is the other part of it. Could we order one? Yeah. What's the fun of that? Let's do something. It's cast. It kind of looks like what it should be, huh? We'll keep that in mind. I'm going to keep digging, see what I can come up with. Well, we have something to at least try to possibly work with. Found another bell pulley. It actually kind of looks more closer. I don't know, the outside diameter is correct, but again, how far it goes on the inside, you actually kind of see the imprint there and the imprint there. A little smaller. Let's go bring that downstairs. We might have to go work with that. Steel. It's already got the key set up in it. We might be able just to cut that and make that fit. Go see. Well, it's definitely better shot than that one. I'd say it's try to grab a caliper, huh? I don't know if you measure that inside groove or what. Yeah, we go grab a caliper. We'll just kind of measure that inside, see how much of a difference there is. So this one. Call that the inside of it. See how much slop this one's going to have. That's not much. I want to say that's 1/4 inch. And not saying that the belt drops all the way down in there. That's the other part of it too, how far the belt goes down in the groove. I think we're going to go try working with this. I think it's our best option. I got it chalked up in a lathe. Unfortunately, I do not have a parting tool. But I do now. If they don't find you handsome, gotta find you handy. Just popped her right off of there. I think we'll be able to clean up that surface now. That should work. I think we're going to have to cut a space or two. We need to make up that distance. So we have that dimension already. We just don't have whatever that is. I'll measure that up and chop us out. Probably that same stock I can cut us out a little. Actually, probably can just cut it off of this, right? It's junk, so and we'll do that. It's got a taper to it that looks like it's meant to fit up on the crank. So we'll just have that same. You may want to clean the rust off of it though. So that's 1 inch tall. That's a 1/2 inch tall. So you need a 1/2 inch cut from there. Well, that should make up the bottom pieces that we need. That. Yeah, take a lip off of it. From that. I'm going to go take a wire wheel. We'll clean all the rust off of here so you get a little bit better fit. Not fight us like it did last time. Hopefully. Yeah, so we throw a little grease on there. Keep the rust down too. That's what got it. It was really pitted up top. Let's go turn it so the key is facing us. That's fitting some of that stuff together. See how we make out. So this was the one off the original pulley that was all bound up. That's a big difference. And our new one. There you go. Like it never happened, huh? let's go grab that electric clutch that came with it. We'll go set that on there and see how things look. Make sure we don't have an issue. All right, so that seems to have had a washer. So that's what's sitting over there. And it's got a key in it. And what this does, it's a big electric magnet. And it turns the mower deck on and off by electrical switch. Hopefully it's the right one. Let's try to eyeball that better. And it should just have a long bolt that kind of holds it all together. And also, I think he's had the wires ripped out of it. And the wires are going to rip out because it's got locating pins that hold this from spinning. If you were to hit the clutch, put power to it, it would spin the whole thing and rip the wires off. So that may have been what caused that part of it. And I'm still kind of fighting me a little bit to get it. Oh, it's not the right one. I think it is though. Let's see if we can get rid of this part of it. And I think we just got rust on that bearing that's holding us up. We will clean that up real quick. The thing I don't like is not having the original parts that it came with, because I don't know if everything's correct. Okay. This doesn't seem like it's got very much of a key to grab by. Anyway, so this right here is a big electric magnet. You energize that when you hit the switch on the dash. Then it's got this cage that is here. That's also going to be keyed to it. Get that on there. That should lock in, which it did. And what happens is that's kind of like spring loaded. I don't know if you're able to see it, but it's got like a little bit of play in it. It's got a little bit of flex to it. And this one has a lot of flex to it. You can see how much room this one has with the little, and when the magnet is energized, it draws this hub to lock onto this one. Hopefully that's making sense. You get the key on it. So that should lock into the key with a long bolt tying it all together. And so it is kind of like on a brake. When you de-energize it, it has a brake that stops the mower deck from spinning. And when you energize it, it just locks it together. So it doesn't spin and does spin when that is locked on. So it ties these two together. And if not, this is just supposed to spin all the time on a bearing. This does not. It's still keyed, but again, it's spinning on a bearing. So hopefully that makes sense. Working on getting that reassembled. You got, half the clutch on the upper pulley is already on there. And I'm kind of looking at the belt setup. I was able to run that through. What a pain in the ass that would be with that whole clutch assembly on there. So I definitely could see that, trying to be an issue. Wiggling that up and through, because you have to try to get the belt essentially through here, this gap, and then fed back over it. So I can see that being a little bit tight on an issue, but it's like a new tensioner pulley was put on it. That's new. These two seem like they're okay when I spun it, and then it's around the differential. And this is the tension on it. It stays always under tension. And that looks pretty good. It's not like a standard trans where you would slack the belt. I think a belt on this one kind of spins all the time, and then you get the hydro that you just kind of put in gear. Because I don't see any rod going to this to take the tension off. So that looks decent. It's got a decent amount of spring tension on it. I was a little concerned that the belt wasn't going to get tight. So now we are back to dealing with the clutch setup, and I do not see where that locating bracket is for the pin is. It may be still, I did see a metal bar over there. That might be what we need, but I'm going to continue to get the rest of that clutch on there, and I'll bring you back. All right, well, it's sort of back together. Looks decent. So these wires would come up and just plug into that plug right there and energize that. But as you can see, this is floating. This and this is tied together. So in this location, it's called the brake. If the magnet is de-energized, it releases and the brake comes on and it allows it this should not be able to spin right now. It allows the mower deck to stop so that's not, you know, freewheeling or spinning. And then when it energizes, it goes the other way, and it, as you can see right now, it's not connected. This pulley is not connected to the crankshaft, so it would connect to that and then would spin this pulley and not be locked to this hub. Now this hub right here, I'm calling it a hub, is supposed to be pinned by these little captures right here. I do not see what is missing so far that would lock that in place. It may have rattled off and fell out, I don't know. And that's probably was the original problem, where the wires, he said, ripped out of it. Well, that would do it. There's nothing holding it. As soon as you would hit the brake, this thing would just spin right around and just rip the plug right off the end of it. So I'm gonna go look. There was a metal bracket. I do think that metal bracket is for the belt guide down below, but it may also do double duty. So I'm gonna go take a peek. Yeah, so this one is tensioning for the mower deck. That actually hangs on the front of the deck. And then this is the one I was talking about, which is the pulley that locks onto the it's the guide for the lower belt so it doesn't fall off. The only thing I see other thing that came with it was this screw, which does not look like it's going to be the right size. Let's go walk over, see if possibly that shoulder or that shoulder, judging by the little hammering on that, that might be it right there. A little awkward looking. Not that light's getting in. Let's go see what that bracket. I would guess it would go in one of these holes on this side and bolt on the other side. And that wouldn't make sense because the wires would be on the wrong end. So let's go flip it around. I would think it would be something like, go with, I see a hole on the other end there. Let's go try that one. And I don't know where it would bolt over here. Let me go see if there's any. I do not see where that taps in. Maybe it's on the back over here. Let's see if you can see any witness marks where it was. Definitely got chatter marks right there. The only thing is, being the other way around, I don't think the wire would reach. Oh, you know what? It might come through this. Maybe it comes through that hole right there and it would be enough room. You know what I mean? So, if we were to take this back out and flip it around. So that would go in there. I'm going to go poke around for a little bit, see what we can figure out how that goes. Because the only thing I see how it has that round hole set up right there. I just see a bunch of ones right here. I'm kind of hoping that one of these is what it's supposed to go into. You would think, this is why I don't like washing machine ahead of time, because sometimes you can get like witness marks. It'll show like that one right there. Looks like it's got some chatter marks. So I'm going to try setting it up with that one, and I'll bring you back, see what I can find. Maybe that looks like it right there, where the bolt goes. On the other end is right there. All right, so I'm going to work on that a little bit and see what we come up with. Yeah, let's look at it. This should do it. So it's got a capture there, comes down around, helps hold this belt on, and that hole that we saw on the back seems like is where it lines up. I just got to find a bolt for that. And I wonder if the whole problem first started with the mower deck then, and then it lost this bracket or the bolt fell out, and everything just kind of all hell broke loose after that. I was looking at where that chatter mark is though. You see the chatter mark? It looks like I am off where it originally was hitting by about a ½ inch. You know, like this is sitting a little too low. I don't know. Everything else looks pretty decent on it. We're gonna find out. That seems like it went back fairly decent, and yeah, the wire just ends up being just the correct length to go and plug into the other one, and it's captured. But like I said, the only thing is the chatter marks where the old one was. I wish I had the old one to look at to see if there was a slight difference. And I was thinking, well, maybe I was supposed to cut, yeah, this is the pulley that we added. That lower section, I wonder if we were off, but then I grabbed it and it definitely looks like it's still the same height. Like there's not that much difference. I thought I kind of eyeballed those and they looked correct to us, but I'm not going to worry about it. Everything is bolted and tight. I say that now. If it flies apart when we fire it up, that'll be what the problem was. So I'm going to go put the muffler back on it, plug the wires back in, and we'll set it back down. We'll fire it up, and we'll check the transmission out and see how that stuff kind of works. And then we'll probably turn the PTO on and off and see how this setup functions for us. Let's go fire it up, hopefully. I think everything's connected. And we'll see if the belt stays on. Probably should go for choke, huh? Give her some throttle. We'll take a look. Looks pretty good. Try hitting the clutch. That's good. I think I might be rubbing a little. Awesome. Yeah, the tin's a little rattly in the front, huh? I think it's just from bashing this stuff over its lifetime. I'm not concerned about it. But everything else seems to be functioning okay on the bottom, so that's good. Happy about that. I think let's go jack the ass end up and we'll try putting it in gear and seeing how the hydro goes. There's a lockout when you push them. You got to engage and disengage. And that is right there. And that should make it so the hydro in the back now moves. Usually have a little tag on it, letting you know what it does. And we get something up under the rear, and we'll try putting it in gear. One thing I'll fight us putting into gear is it's got a seat safety, and it looks like it's already been disconnected. Probably just under the seat wired together. So that's been disconnected. Let's fire it up, and we can take the parking brake off, and we'll try putting it in gear. Tires are about a ½ inch off the ground. Only one side's gonna drive. transmission works. That seems, we haven't put a load on it yet, but again, he didn't have a problem with that, so shouldn't be too concerned. I'm gonna cut off some of the crap that's on here. I may put it off the bench and bring it over to the pressure washer, give her a little bit of a bath while the tins are still off of it, and then we'll jump over to get the mower deck on it and see how that performs. It's gonna need a bunch of maintenance on it. I don't have enough time to try to get that knocked out right now, but we will try to take care of some things like that before we button it up. But as far as, you know, pulling the car apart, cleaning it, and you know, all that kind of stuff, that may be on a non-video. All right, let me go give her a bath. I think the patient made it through its surgery pretty good in the hospital. We could take its wristband off. I think before you put that fan shroud back on, let's go look and see what's kind of going on with these taped up wires that the mice have had a field day with. Yeah, I'm going to take a blade. I'll cut that blue tape off of there and we'll see what's going on underneath. Well, it looks pretty good. This one is going to the oil pressure switch. See if we can wiggle that out of there. If we can, we should be able to get a piece of string tubing on it. Yeah, just gotta take one bolt off a clip and we should be able to wiggle that out of there. So that's just a signal wire going to the gauge for the oil pressure, and it's going to be ground. There's no power there, and what happens is it'll ground. It's the ground path for the light bulb for the oil light. So the oil light will come on if there's no pressure and the switch is grounded. When pressure is applied to that switch, I should show you what I'm talking about, huh? Right here, coming off where the oil filter is. So when oil pressure builds, there's a diaphragm inside here with a spring. It opens up a set of contacts under pressure, and when the pressure goes away, this just goes right back to ground again, and that makes the light come on. So that's how that is operating. So there's no power, like I said, on that wire, but we're going to still put a piece of shrink tubing over that. Let's go find some. So I'm going to try to not have to take that end off of there. I don't know if that's going to be able to squeeze through that tubing. It's kind of fat for it. I'm going to take a peek on the other end of the wire, see if it comes off. I don't think it does. No, it goes into a harness on the other side. Might have to clip that off and put a new one on. Actually, I'm looking at the jacket that's on it. Okay, it's already got a piece of plastic jacket on it. What if we were able to just slide that down and cover it, as long as you get this to feed in there? It came with its own shrink tubing. There you go. I think we'll make that so that it won't ground out. That should be good enough. Good. I'm going to take a quick peek at this, the other end of this, and see what the scenario is. It might be the same thing. I may just leave that well enough and alone. That's it's not blue masking tape. That's like a blue electrical tape. I say we do a little bit of shopping. Hopefully there is the, yes there is. This was missing on it. So let's go grab that and bring it over. And I think that should just snap into place on those tabs. Let's go see. Think it rubs? Yeah. Feels decent. And the typical rattle. Makes it sound like it's definitely got some more issues than it really does. Let's see if we can kind of... I think it's about as best as it's gonna get. See if it's missing a bolt or something. Let's go check out the deck and see what kind of condition that is in and what love it's going to require. The buzz in the background is just the battery charger on it. It's, that one's growly. It might free up though. really. That one. Stiff too. Sometimes it'll like, it depends on where the crud is. Sometimes it's in the bearings, which is probably what this is. That one looks like it's already been replaced once too. And the spindles is the biggest one. Looks like it's got a loose bolt or broken bolt. Feels decent. How about this one? Feels decent. Alright, let's go flip it over, see what the other side looks like. Yeah, it's run into a few things in its lifetime. It's a couple of whacks right there. The blade has come around. That's a big distance, huh? That to hit there. Maybe it took something and smashed it into it. Oh, that's a repair. And that looks like an old repair. Well done. And it probably had a bar that went across from here to here. It's now missing. That's kind of like, here's like the little piece of it left. Yeah, I know he's doing like a lot of mowing around the fences and all too. And it just looks like the bolts are loose on that one. I'm just gonna quickly eyeball the blade height. See if there's a big difference on them. Not terrible. Blades are beat, but I'm just looking at where that meets right there. I want to see if it kind of is in the same spot. Generally, I'll hold my finger there and spin it if I have both hands available. Decent. I don't know about those two pulleys. If I have anything, maybe we can kind of change them out. And then maybe from this side, we could weld a patch. Let's hammer that a little bit. Try to get a little bit more flat surface. And maybe we just can kind of come over with a piece of metal like that and buzz it around. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just be better not having a hole in the middle, I guess. Let's eyeball that Toro mower deck. It might be... It doesn't have an electric PTO, so it's got a different setup as far as how it locks. We can't just switch it right over, but that one feels decent. And that one feels decent. So we can steal those two. How about the blades? I don't know. Might be the same. I got a lot of times it's the lock in the center kind of dictates how it is. They're not that great neither. They're starting to blow out on the edges. All right, let's go see if we can go fix that center of it and patch it up a little bit. I say we whittle ourselves out a little pattern. That should be enough paper to work with, about that much. Yeah. Alright, so wrap about that far. We can get rid of that much. I should let it hang down like that. And then over here, I think we're a little thin, so let's allow ourselves to kind of bend like that. Yeah. Should we go up that far? Let's give it a little haircut. Go about that much, and now we got to prep an area so it'll stick after we're done. So let's go just give that a quick hit with a Sharpie. We know that's the area we need to grind the dirt and crap off of so that the welder can stick. And I'm going to go cut a piece of metal out about that size. While we got the welder out, we might as well make something that kind of goes across here and at least supports this from, you know, getting beat up and vibrating. This would be angle iron, but probably something with a little bit of a bend to it. Either that or just really thick. Come over here, we'll eyeball what this looked like. Yeah. I don't even know if we need that curve, neither do we? Well, I guess as long as the blade doesn't hit it, right? I don't want to cut this one up just because that machine may go back together with a different engine, so I don't want to crucify this one yet. I don't mind stealing the pulleys because that's just a bolt-on. This one, on the other hand, it was definitely a parts one we used for another machine. It's just gone. But I wonder if we can cut maybe this section of it out and adapt it. I'm going to grab a tape measure, see what the span is. Maybe we'll just cut that out with a whiz wheel. Use that. Looks like we need 13. Yeah, 13 ought to do it. Stop with the jokes. And let's go. That's a whole side, huh? It's bigger than it looked. The gap. Oh, stop it. Let's So that's 13 to there. So we'd have to come cut that out. Oh no, we'll drop it down maybe an inch. Something like that. And the other end would be right about there. So I'm just going to go cut that out with a cut-off wheel. You know, bring it over, see what it looks like. And see if that does anything for us. That should be pretty good. If we clear off some of that crap over there, we should be able to bridge right across. That looks decent, huh? Probably got more of a curve than this mower deck needs, but that's fine. As long as you brace those two sides. So I'm going to grind all this crap off here, clean up some edges, buzz that back on there. And now you see it. And now you don't. Or maybe you see it a little. And a little procurement of pulleys to fix. That's a good turn. It's like the same setup. Well, I'm going to save you, or me, the embarrassment of me trying to get that deck back underneath that tractor with grunting and funny noises and all everything that goes along with it. And I'll bring you back. We'll see how, hopefully, it does not throw any belts and it is doing everything it should. Let's go find out. I don't know why it's not working. I just don't know why. I can't understand. I had to go take that bar back down again to get the belt over it. And I unplugged it. Well, there's your reason why. Alright, so now we gotta reset everything. Hold on. I gotta do my stretches. Come on. Alright. Stand on the other side. That pulley there looks really wobbly. Might be just the way it's bouncing around. I think it's okay. The blades are way out of balance. See how bad it's shaking? But that's for chasing blades, not everything else. Everything else seemed to stay together. The clutch seemed like it was working okay. Yeah. A little noisy, a little noisier than I expected as far as the spindles were concerned, but they do function. Alright, I don't think it's going to jump a belt. Seems like it's fairly decent. Yeah. That pulley just looks a little like the bracket it's sitting on is. Got a little too much play in it, you know what I mean? I'm going to double check, make sure that nut is tight on that one. Just seems like this has a lot of room to walk. That's the spring-loaded one, the one that takes up all the tension. I'm going to double check the other pulley that I took off to just make sure there's no difference in between them. I can tell you right now, it smells like horse shit in here. So I took this one back off again. That one, took a peek underneath and see if it was missing anything. It's just the way it is. That's where the pivot is, and it does have that much play in it. And it is supposed to be the one that kind of, you know, follows, depending on what the height is. And the rest of the vibration is just the, I'm going to say it's the pulley. You know what I forgot to do when I had it out? I didn't tighten the bolts up on that one. One of them rocked, so I got to go back underneath and where the spindle was, tighten them up. Whoops. Other than that, it seems like it's fairly complete. I got to chase blades, that's all. How about one more time with that spindle tight? That was all four were loose, so that definitely was not helping things. Choke. That's enough of that racket. I'm going to go adjust some tire pressures, throw a hood on it, and see if we can get the headlights to work. Get it open without breaking it. So close. Damn it. Let's get the flying. There we go. Go clean up some eyeball sockets. Ooh. Definitely needed some cataract issues taken care of. jack. I can see clearly now. So I brought it back to the homestead. It is springtime and it's the first cut of the year. I figured I'd give it a challenge. Some spots look like it's about 12 inches high. So I'll go buzz it around and give her a function check. Make sure everything's okay with it. Let's give her a rip. See how she does. Filled her up with some fuel. And I don't know if we still need the choke or not. Well, it did just fine. I ran it around. I had about 20-25 minutes. Probably took 10 minutes to cut the grass, and then, I just kept kind of going over it and running the machine. I wanted to get it hot and see if anything would show up. Everything seems fine. No funky issues with it. Exhaust is a little rattly in that front. I guess I saw 2 cracks in the tin that goes around it. I should have welded them up when I had the welder out. It does have a bagger system for it, but the bagger, the piece where it meets the mower deck, is beat. So I didn't end up bringing that with us to put it on there, but seems like everything else is okay. It's for a homeowner machine, it's fairly decent. It's got the electric PTO. It's not a lever operated. It's got a cast iron front end in it instead of a sheet metal one, which are these. I'm talking about that right there. The rear end's a little bit on the beefier side. It's got the 4-lug wheels on the back of it instead of just having the plastic cap with the clip over it that holds it on. Got the cruise control, bigger motor, hydro. Like I said, it's got the bagger system for it too. So yeah, actually turned out pretty good. Tires aren't dry rotted. Battery was fine. Even the air cleaner was good. So did a bunch of maintenance to it, and I guess it paid off. Plus, normally what happens is I get these things, I get the call. It's like, hey, I got a mower that failed on me 10 years ago, and it's been parked out in the backyard for 10 years. And then I get it. We have to deal with all that kind of stuff, but not on this one. It worked out pretty decent. So I want to thank him again for hooking us up with this one. He also gave us the John Deere about 3 years ago, I want to say, a John Deere 318, which had internal engine problems. That one was real fun to work on. We brought that one back to life. That's more of a, I don't want to say commercial, but just a high-end garden tractor, and that's set up with a plow, and I do have a snowblower for it. Full hydraulics, hydraulic steering in the front for the power steering, plus hydraulics for the plow blade and or snowblower. That one runs. But this one's destined to cut grass. All right, guys, I'm starting to ramble. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me and cleaning up my yard a little bit. I got to go run around with a weed whacker and all that kind of stuff yet, but hey, it's spring. All right, guys, I got more, like 4 of these showed up within 2 weeks. There's, I think, 2 with bad transmissions, and I forget what the 3rd one is so far already, but may or may not get to them. Till then, I'll see you later. Hello. Your eyes do not deceive you. And you are Peanut?
Peanut.
Hey, Peanut. Peanut's about 36 inches tall. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
And we say he's about 300 pounds?
He's about 300 pounds, yeah.
Yeah, nice try.
He likes to chew on people.
Yeah, you like no boy. And then you got your other friend over here, who's would he be like a pony
He's
considered?
a Shetland pony.
Yeah. So he's a mini. You're the pony of the family, and we still have to go see the runt yet. I think I'm getting him in the middle of a snack. So, I got nothing for you. I'm sorry. I wish I did. Huh? And the loner.
Cappy.
Cappy.
Yeah.
Hey, Cappy.
He loves people.
Nice do. You got it. Yeah. You're all combed out. Look at you. Styling. And age is
No, 9?
9 years old, 20 years old, and 26.
26, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the baby in the group.
Yeah. Must get pissed when you try riding them.
It's funny if you reach over it and put a weight on him.
Yeah.
Walk.
Oh yeah. He's like, I'm not having it.
He's like, yeah, no, you're not touching that. But he'll pull you all day. He'll pull you in a cart all day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Does he actually kind of look forward to it?
Yeah, he loves it.
Kind of like huskies pulling the sled in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah. He loves doing it.
Neat. Say goodbye. I guess that's goodbye.
He's like,
Fine.